What's up, your boy Vaughn? Another reaction. In today's video, we need to stop lying about the Attitude Era about Voice of Excellence. Lying about what? I ain't gonna lie, I was born in 2006. I did not watch the Attitude Era. I ain't gonna lie, I be LARPing the Attitude Era. I did not see that shit.
Y'all remember the "we done with the 90s" trend the NBA fans was doing on TikTok a couple years ago?
Offensive rebound, and he's lost that quick ball bouncing on his head, bro. Ooh, hook shot.
Yeah.
No, sir. Okay, possession. Possession, come on, get the rebound. Back up again. Back up again.
But the games was so low scoring too. Like it was more niggas be. It was more defense back then. Like I know these games was boring as fuck.
Okay, wait, slow down, brother, slow down. Fade away, airball. Garbage. Watch Jordan do an air reverse airball. That's garbage.
Well, I think it's time we bring that same energy over to the wrestling world, because we've been lied to, led astray, deceived, bamboozled, fed a propaganda by day one by wrestling old heads who swore to us that the Attitude Era was the greatest era of all time. It's the gold standard of all.
But it is, nigga. They had Stone Cold and The Rock. It ain't a lot of Stone Cold to The Rocks, my nigga, in the wrestling world. It's not a lot of niggas that's as entertaining as them.
Wrestling eras. It was
just The Rock and the Stone Cold. They carry.
A masterpiece. There was absolutely zero flaws in this era. The era that all other wrestling eras try to be but can never replicate the same success as the Attitude Era. And for a long time, I believe.
Yeah, every era had flaws, my nigga. Of course the Attitude Era had flaws. You about to bring them up?
Because I wasn't there to witness it. So I had no argument. I had no proof, no evidence that the Attitude Era wasn't the greatest era of all time. So I just ran with the narrative. Now, one of my last videos I had there where I was talking about women's Royal Rumble winners, I made a remark in the video claiming that the peak of WWE was the Ruthless Aggression Era. I got 2 comments telling me that I was tripping and that was a very bold take to make. But I don't think it was. Because a couple days ago, I decided I'm going to take a week out of my month and I'm going to go back and rewatch Attitude Era content on Netflix. Full episodes of Raw from start to finish.
Wait, they got that shit on Netflix? For real? You just watched that shit on Netflix?
Not just the highlights or the best moments from the Attitude Era. No, I'm talking full episodes from start to finish of Raw. I did that so nobody can say I am blindly speaking on this era when I make the statements that I am about to make. And I am here to tell you guys with full confidence, having sat through more Attitude Era content than anybody my age should have to endure, that shit is so mid, dog. I cannot believe that there's niggas that actually believe that this era is the peak of wrestling, bro. Niggas need to take off those rose-colored tinted glasses and really go back and rewatch the content from the Attitude Era. Please. And I already know that there's some old heads already warming up their fingers to type something crazy in the comments. But before you do that,
yeah, niggas about to get mad as fuck.
Just hear me out for a second, because I have actual proof and evidence on why this era is trash. This is a conversation that has been long overdue on this channel. I've been trying to hold off on this video for a long time now, so I can
No, don't say it's trash now, my nigga.
Actually go back and have the time to rewatch this content. I finally did it, and I'm going to expose the Attitude Era right now. One of the things that bothers me the most about people claiming the Attitude Era is the greatest era of all time is that the people that do it, they either never actually watched content from the Attitude Era and they're just going off narratives and vibes pretty much, or they actually did live through the era but they never talk about the full product. They only talk about the highs of the era. They only talk about the Austin beer baths, Taker throwing Foley off the Hell in a Cell, Foley winning the WWE Championship. And look, I get it. Nobody's going to sit around and reminisce over the bad moments of an era. That's just not going to happen. That's just human nature. You're going to remember the stuff that made you feel something. But here's where it becomes a problem, because those same people will look at an era like the PG era, for example, and they will only look at the bad stuff that happened and completely
But just said a PG era was ass.
Regard any of the good stuff that occurred during that era.
Because it didn't have no blood. The old head wrestling niggas love that blood. They miss that blood.
So by their own logic, they're judging an era exclusively off its highest peaks and another era exclusively by its valleys. That's not a fair comparison at all. Because if we're playing the highlight reel game, I could easily sit here right now and make the PG era look like the greatest era of all time. CM Punk's pipe bomb, Daniel Bryan overcoming the Authority at WrestleMania 30, the Shield breakup, Summer of Punk, Cena versus Rock, the end of the Undertaker streak, Triple H breaking into Randy Orton's house. Does that make the PG era the greatest era of all time? Absolutely not. You can literally do that with any era. That's literally just cherry picking at its finest. So let's actually take a look at the full product. And the first thing I want to talk about first is the pay-per-views, dog. Because the pay-per-views were legit garbage, and I'm not even trolling. Bro, y'all think pay-per-views now are trash? Go back and watch some pay-per-views from the Attitude Era. They were literally booked like regular episodes of Raw. You couldn't tell the difference between an episode of Raw or a random pay-per-view taking place in March. Shout out to my dog TLCell's Fourth, because he actually made videos about this a couple years ago on his TikTok, where he was actually one of the first content creators I seen exposing the Attitude Era for being a fraudulent era. He went back and he reviewed WrestleMania 15. I'm gonna play the clip and I'm gonna let y'all see how trash this event was.
Stop calling this era the best of all time, bro, because it's not, bro. Here, yo, check out the finish to this match, man. Now, no joke, y'all. I am not kidding. This match was legit 8 minutes. I'm not trolling y'all, bro. Hardcore Holly winning the hardcore title in the opener of WrestleMania, bro. What are we doing? There's no way. We are 3 minutes into the match. They just had a 3-minute tag match on WrestleMania. Oh my god. This is garbage. Finally, bro, something watchable, bro. Mankind versus Big Show, bro. This should be good. Never mind, y'all. End this disqualification, y'all. This is garbage, bro. I'm not gonna. Here we go. Kane versus Triple H. Let's get it. Okay, watch out. Ooh, it ain't work. It ain't work. And it gets better because we got Sable. And here's the interference. Another interference, bro. Interference merchants, bro. Attitude Era. Garbage. This was a 4-minute match, by the way. Just letting you know. We get another interference, bro. Triple H on X-Pac for what reason, bro? Garbage. I just want to let y'all know, since the start of this pay-per-view, every match has had an interference in it except the opening triple threat, bro. I'm not trolling. Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. Finally, bro, it's main event time.
But gang, just look at the star power though. Like all them niggas were superstars. Facts. Like just look at the star power. Like we gotta look at the wrestlers group.
Told y'all, if it ain't the main event scene, it's God. This is the only day people want to see. Oh, stop. Okay.
Dog, every match on the show besides 2 had an interference. 2 matches ended in a disqualification, and only 2 matches went over the 10-minute mark. Imagine if something like this happened to...
That nigga T.O. a WWE mark though. That nigga only make content on WWE. I follow that nigga on TikTok.
Day, my nigga, Triple H will have to go into witness protection mode, my nigga. And this ain't even cherry picking one pay-per-view, because if you go back and watch, like I said, do the research, there's a good 90% of the pay-per-views that follow this same blueprint, bro. This is the era y'all have been going to war for in the comments for 25 years. This is y'all's goal. And the weekly TV was no different. I keep saying it, and I'm gonna keep on saying it till y'all actually go back and do it. Go rewatch or watch for the first time the full episode of Raw from the Attitude Era. You can go back on Netflix.
That's a WWE Raw vote. Oh,
they have the archive on Netflix. And I want you to notice how fast you start drifting the moment the main event scene is not on the screen. The undercard is filler. The mid-card is filler. It's literally just background wrestling. Literally stuff just existing on a card, so the show has content between the moments that actually matter. Now go watch a random episode of Raw or SmackDown from the Ruthless Aggression era and see how locked in you be from start to finish. Different experience entirely, bro. You get elite matches and segments throughout the entire show. You get a show
I'm gonna have to do that.
Where things are actually happening at multiple levels and not just any main event scene. That is what a rounded era looks like. And a rounded era is going to clear a top-heavy era every single time, no matter what. Now, one thing I would get an Attitude Era though is the main event scene, because the main event scene was elite. Anytime the main event scene was on my screen, bro, I was locked in start to finish. Austin, Rock, Triple H, Vince McMahon as the evil boss pulling all the strings from behind the scenes. That trio plus Vince right there was one of the greatest ever assembled. But outside of those 3, there's absolutely zero depth behind them. Now, I wouldn't say zero depth, but there wasn't really any more top stars behind those 3 guys. I love Mick Foley to death, bro, but he was never booked as a top guy in the Attitude Era outside.
They just had that nigga just doing shit. Nigga was just a daredevil.
Outside of that one championship running that he had. He was always one step below the
I saw
ceiling.
niggas was saying Darby Allin won the championship like how Mick Foley was supposed to. Like, they said Darby Allin was like what Mick Foley was supposed to be like. He not better than fucking Mick Foley, but y'all get what I'm saying? Like, he got that championship moment, you know what I'm saying?
And The Undertaker, oh my god, I'm sorry, bro, y'all gonna hate me for this, but The Undertaker and the Attitude Era is hands down the worst version of The Undertaker. I don't care what anybody says. I'm specifically talking about Ministry Taker, because when Taker moved away from that, he was low-key kind of fired. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what the fuck I was talking about. Don't listen to the shit I just said about The Undertaker, nigga. Undertaker was definitely in the main event scene and the Attitude Era, nigga. Hopefully y'all can hear me with these fucking cars this morning. Undertaker was definitely in the main event scene, nigga. He was definitely in the top 4, nigga. I don't know what I was talking about. I was specifically talking about corporate Ministry Taker, not even Ministry of Darkness or Taker in general, nigga. I don't know why I made those stupid remarks. I don't know what I was on when I made that, but nigga, Taker was definitely in the main event scene. Ruthless Aggression Undertaker clears Attitude Era Undertaker by a mile, and it's not even close. So realistically, you had Austin, Rock, and Triple H carrying the whole thing on their backs, bro. Meanwhile, Ruthless Aggression, you had a better version of The Undertaker. Equally still in his prime Triple H, Batista, Edge, Cena, Orton, HBK, Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar for a little bit. That is 9 legitimate main event stars right off the top of my head, bro. 9 guys you could build any show around and the audience would buy it completely. One era has 3 people at the top and the other got 9, 10 niggas at the top. You tell me which one sounds more like the greatest era of all time. Now we gotta talk about the women's wrestling, because I don't know if y'all know, but I'm a big women's wrestling fan. And women's wrestling in the Attitude Era, I don't even know if you...
I gotta get into a women's wrestling game. I don't even like know the greatest women's wrestling match. I don't even have a greatest women's wrestling match. Like, yeah, I never really cared about women's wrestling. Not trying to sound sexist, I'm not sexist.
I call it wrestling, honestly, bro. It was legit just a goon session for teenage boys at the time, bro. There was barely any wrestling that I seen when I went back and watched this shit. There was legit just bikini matches, bra and panties matches, and in the occasional regular singles match that you did have, it somehow always ended with somebody's outfit coming off by the end of it. I don't know about y'all, but I actually like seeing good matches from women wrestlers and not just them pulling each other's undergarments off. And to anybody that argues that women's wrestling was more entertaining back then than today,
yeah, gooner.
And yes, there are niggas that make this argument. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. You niggas are certified D1 gooners, bro. Attitude Era fans will also die on this grave that today's fans couldn't survive in the Attitude Era for some reason. Which is funny because half the edginess in the Attitude Era was just women flashing their tits, DX making penis jokes, and racist jokes. Literally things that would just be looked at as cringe.
What the fuck?
Nowadays. No one would even be mad at that shit. They would just be cringed. The Attitude Era was basically just shock value for the sake of shock value with absolutely nothing underneath it. It wouldn't work today, and that's a problem because an era that is supposedly so great should work in any time period. That's another thing I want to talk about because Attitude Era fans always bring up this argument or this rebuttal that if you weren't around during the time period, you can't speak on the Attitude Era because you just had to be there to witness it. Dog, we live in 2026, my nigga. We can go back and watch Attitude Era content. And even if we couldn't, an era that only works in its time period, an era that only is good when you were there in the moment, is not a good era if it doesn't stand the test of time years later, bro. I'm sorry to break it to y'all. And I'll say one more thing before I wrap this up. A lot of people say that other eras take different things from the Attitude Era and that's what make it the greatest era of all time. Is it the most popular era? Yes, I'll give it that. Maybe even the most successful in a sense. But bro, the Attitude Era itself isn't even fully original, bro. So much of what WWE was doing during that time period was a direct reaction to what WCW was doing during the Monday Night Wars. They were competing, borrowing, and building off ideas that were already in motion set by WCW. It don't take away from what the Attitude Era built, but it does take away from the mythology that this era was some singular genius moment that could never be replicated or questioned. At the end of the day, the Attitude Era is not the greatest wrestling era of all time. It's not even close to the greatest era of all time.
That nigga Vince was overly on roids. Like, look at that nigga in the back.
A genius moment that could never be replicated or questioned. At the end of the day, the Attitude Era is...
Boy, that nigga was juicing out his mind game. Look at him in the background, bro.
It's not the Ruthless Aggression Era clears it by a mile. And if y'all want me to make a video on what makes the Ruthless Aggression Era way better than the Attitude Era, then I'll do that. But I'm trying to keep this video relatively short, to be honest. I could have talked about so much more in this video, like the constant hot potato of the World Championship in the main event scene, the cringe storylines and trash.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ruthless Aggression Era, the greatest era too, because that was more my era. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't born doing no Attitude Era.
Absolute garbage matches that we had, but I feel like y'all got the point. I didn't really need to go that deep. Y'all get the point. Attitude Era is overrated. Let me know in the comments if y'all think I'm tripping, because I could be tripping. Maybe y'all can come with some rebuttals down below and show me why the Attitude Era is the greatest of all time. But if you gonna come with a rebuttal, please Don't come with the same old "you weren't there, you're too young" argument. That argument has expired, bro. Follow the TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. All the links are down below. And I have seen some people ask me in the comments, do I watch other wrestling promotions? Yes, I do. I just haven't come around to making any videos yet that involves me including all those promotions. But yes, I do watch all wrestling promotions. I don't watch them as consistently as WWE, but I do know and I keep up with a lot of them. I do have a video coming out at the end of the year, professional wrestling timeline, so y'all boys stay tuned for that. And the Vox quote of the day. We done with the Attitude Era, nigga. Voice out.
Make sure like, comment, subscribe, all deuces. Yeah. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Stone Cold and The Rock, they did carry that shit. I ain't gonna lie. Let's see, well, hold on. Let's see what they say in the comments. 76 comments. I'd take 1,000 ruthless aggression errors than any more. What we get now, Attitude wasn't best, but had the highest highs. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I can't do that. Hey, what the fuck?
Is this what the label wants?
Arrow.
For
The right out arrow.
Y'all remember the "we done with the 90s" trend the NBA fans was doing on TikTok a couple years ago?
Offensive rebound, and he's lost that.
Let me see. I watched the entire Attitude Era like 2 years ago. While yes, it had some legendary moments, you had to slog through so much bullshit to get there. Yeah, Stone Cold and The Rock were so good that people just forgot the other 98% of stuff happening was mid or ass. Cashing on my head before. Okay, they're agreeing, like, ain't no old heads like being mad in the comments.